Hi, it's Stacy from Families with Grace, and I have another article for you from the Beyond the Vows story. This one is covering Till Death Do Us Part. So, when my husband and I vowed to love each other in 1999, I was 20 and he was 22. We thought death was a long time in the future for us. It never crossed our minds that death would be something we'd face much sooner. In fact, a few months after we got married, we were traveling with my husband's family and got carbon monoxide poisoning. It was so much that we ended up having to go to the hospital. I've wondered since then if my father-in-law had not woken up thinking he was having a heart attack, if any of us would have survived the night. I didn't even wake up at the commotion, and my husband practically had to drag me to fresh air. When we got home later, a friend sent me a bouquet of flowers with a card that read, "I'm so glad you didn't die." While we sort of laughed at it and made a joke about it, we also realized how blessed we were that our story didn't end differently and the till death part of our vows didn't happen before we had even celebrated our first anniversary. In the years since then, we haven't had another near-death experience, thank goodness. We both had some surgeries and things like that. My husband even had a minor motorcycle accident, but he walked away with only a fracture in his shoulder and a couple of broken ribs. Our only other encounters with death have been through the loss of family members. But what we've learned the very most through these 19 years is that till death do us part means that we're together for the rest of our lives. It's already been 19 years, which both seems like forever and just a few days. We've done a lot of living as man and wife. We've had our share of disagreements, but never once have we considered splitting up or divorcing. We haven't ever discussed anything other than death parting us. Honestly, I can't even begin to get into my thoughts and fears about losing my husband because he is so much my other half that I don't want to imagine life without him, and I dread the day that might come. Those same feelings, though, give me perspective. Sometimes the little things that might annoy me or aggravate me need to be let go because they don't really matter in the grand scheme. One of the first times that lesson really hit home for me was on September 11th, 2001. We lived in the Midwest and nowhere near any of the terror attacks that happened. But I thought of all the people who said goodbye to their loved ones that morning, never expecting it would be the last time they would see them. It inspired me to always say goodbye to my husband before he left for work and not leave for the day on a sour note. In all of the years since then, that lesson has stuck with me. I'm so thankful that now my husband and I get to work at home together. I only see him off in the morning for the 25 minutes it takes him to drop the kids off at school and come back. On days when he has to go into his office, I miss him a lot. And while we do love each other and enjoy one another's company, we also have problems that arise. We have differences of opinion. Those happen much less frequently these days than they did in the early days when we were first learning more about each other in adulthood. But disagreements do happen still. To stay together until death do we part, we have had to learn how to disagree. We can't always predict what we will feel or what will cause problems in our marriage, but we can always keep in mind how we want to disagree. We have agreed to no name calling, no empty threats of divorce, and no hitting below the belt. I know the things that can most hurt my husband, as he knows the same for me. We've learned it's best to never take advantage of that knowledge and bring up hurtful things during disagreements. We do our best to focus on resolving the disagreement and not focus on just winning the argument or even worse, making the other person feel bad because we're angry and upset. Are we perfect? No way. Do we ever get mad or irritated with each other over the small stuff? Yes, of course. We're human. But we are also in this marriage till death do us part, and so we find ways to compromise, apologize, and move on. My husband and I have had the blessing of growing into full-fledged adults together. We've changed since those early days in our small college apartment. We've changed since we said our vows. We've grown and matured. We've come to know one another better. I hope and pray that till death do us part doesn't happen until we are both older and grayer and have lived 50 more years together. Thanks.